See, look, I didn't record what I just said, so all of you are the only ones that haven't. There you go. All right, here's what we're going to talk about today. Truths we have to face to stay productive. Truths we have to face to stay productive. There are some hard truths we have to face if we want to stay productive in this business, not only in this particular market on September of 2022 and going forward the rest of the year, but really just going forward in general. Okay, barring some drastic changes in the real estate world, the truths that we're going to talk about today are going to keep you productive. Now, some of the stuff we're going to talk about today is, one, not life-changing. It's not like, oh, wow. Okay, some of it will be. Some of it, for some of you, is going to be like, wow, that's a really great point. Some of it, it might not be life-changing, but it'll get the point across. Some of the stuff you've heard before, either from myself or Neil or Mike or anyone that you follow, even with whether it's in the Mike Ferry system or outside the Mike Ferry system, right? Some of this you've heard before, but the question that you have to ask yourself when I bring up some of these points is, am I actually doing that? Okay, it's a different thing from I've heard that before versus I'm actually doing that. Okay. I have an uncle who, yeah, I know smoking's bad for you. I've heard it 1,000 times. Do you do anything about it? No. Okay. It's different to hear it than to actually do something about it. All right. So keep that in mind. And the third thing here is this, none of this is to challenge you, is to say, because some of the stuff I might say, you know, is not to challenge you in a negative way, but it's just simply to say, like, there's, you know, look at the alternate side of it. You're doing it this way. If you fall into one of these points, you're doing it this way. All I'm asking you to do is look at the alternate side. It's not to say that you can't do it. Just look at the alternate side. So keep that in mind as we go through this. These are not written in any particular order of importance. This is just how they're written down. So let's jump into this. These are truths we have to face if we want to stay productive. The first one I wrote down here is other people are better than you at certain tasks. First truth we have to face. Other people are better than you at certain tasks. So when I say other people are better than you at certain tasks, what specifically am I talking about? What D word am I talking about that you need to get involved with? Other people. Delegate. One of the hard truths we have to face if we want to stay productive is that we have to accept the fact that other people are better than us at certain tasks. We get too involved with the title, too involved with the lending, too involved with the escrow, too involved with all these other different things. You have to accept the fact that the person who is trained to be a title rep and goes through all the courses to learn title knows the title process better than you. It's not to say that you don't know the title process and they're smarter than you in general. I'm talking about this specific task. Okay, this one specific task. So delegate. Don't get involved with the title stuff. You have to accept the fact that the lender knows more about the lending process than you do, knows more about the lending rules. And if you honestly feel that you know more than the lender, find a new lender. Okay? We have one. He's in Newport Beach. He covers all of California. He knows a couple things. Right, Barry? There he is. Right? But let the lender do their job. See, we get too involved and it kills our production, because what's the favorite line of a real estate agent when they said, I can't prospect today because I'm putting out what?
Fires.
I'm putting out fires. See Armando on here too. Armando, another great lender. Look at those people, right? I'm putting out, Robert, I can't prospect today. I'm putting out fires. Now, and you all know my famous line, which irritates people. If you tell me you're putting out a fire, like a real fire? No, I got a title issue. Oh my gosh, I forgot. That's right. You're a title rep. Well, I'm not. Oh, okay. So you're just prospecting. You're not prospecting just for fun then. Kills our production because we get involved with too many things. Accept the fact that people know more. It's okay. It's okay, right? But here's the real reason. Mike Ferry talks about this. Why do we feel we need to get involved with everything? What's the real reason we feel we need to get involved with everything?
We're control freaks.
Control freaks, yeah. Yeah, that's part of it. There's another reason that Mike talks about why we need to get involved with everything.
We don't want to prospect.
We don't want to well, we could talk about that in a lot of different avenues. Yes. Yukiko says ego. We're getting there.
Creative avoidance.
Creative avoidance. Sure. We're getting there.
We want to make sure that the deal stays together.
I want to make sure deal stays together. Sure.
Transactions.
We don't think people can do it.
What'd you
as
say,
well.
Andrea?
We don't think people can do it as well as us.
Wait,
I would say no enough transaction. We are afraid if we have just a few transactions, just one or two, we want to make sure it goes through, because if it fall apart, we don't have any transaction to close.
All of you, that's 100% true, and that's all of you correct. Here's the main reason why we feel we need to control everything. We need to justify the amount of money the seller's giving us. And the truth is, we feel like, oh my gosh, the seller's paying me 20 grand and I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And so I need to get involved with title so I can tell the seller, oh, I talked to title. I got involved with title. I got involved with escrow. I got involved with the warranty. I got involved with the lender. We need to justify the commission. You're the only one trying to justify that. The seller already agreed to pay you. They already agreed to pay you to justify your commission to the seller, get it sold in the time that you said you're going to get it sold, do what you say you're going to do, and get the house sold. But we get involved because we are getting paid so much per deal. We think we need to justify it. Just get out of the way. Get out of the way. All right. The second truth I wrote down here: sometimes saving pennies is costing you dollars. Sometimes saving pennies is costing you dollars. Okay. Let me give you an example. I'll do my own TC work. I don't want to pay the $295. I'm saving the $295. How much time, effort, and energy are you doing on your TC work? 10 hours a file. That's $295. That's your hourly rate for 10 hours, $229 an hour. I get it. It's higher than minimum wage, but right? But I saved the $295. It cost you a fortune because you spent so much time. Pay the $295, get the hell out of the way, go prospect. I'll just do the flyer myself. Okay. Are you a marketing major? No. How long does it take you to create a flyer? Well, it only takes me a couple hours. Okay. How much is your hourly rate when you're prospecting? $200 an hour. Okay, great. It's 2 hours to create a flyer. Cost you $400. But at least you just create the flyer yourself. I'm not going to pay someone $500 to build me a website. I'll just build the website myself. Okay. How long is that going to take? A week? All right. So you saved the $500, but it cost you a week of prospecting. Is it possible to get a lead in a week that could turn into an appointment, that could turn into a deal? Yes or no? What's your average commission? 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand. So you saved the $500, but it cost you potentially a $10, $15, $20,000 paycheck because you wanted to build the website yourself. You're not going to pay someone $500 to do it. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You're saving pennies, but it's costing you dollars. I want to save the $295. I'll do the marketing. I'll do this. I'll run to the post office. I don't want to pay someone to do this because you're costing yourself a ton of money when you look at these types of things. Okay. So the truth we have to face is that sometimes you got to spend a couple bucks to get yourself back on the phone. That is where your profit is at. How much time are you supposed to spend on profit-driven activities?
75%.
75% of your day should be on profit-driven activities. Well, gosh, if you work 8 hours a day and you spend 2 hours working on your flyer, that means you only have 6 hours left. That means 6 hours have to be on profit-driven activities, which you're not going to do because you're going to do admin and you're going to do this and other types of things. You know, remember when we interviewed Dave Abdallah? Okay, if you haven't heard Neil's interview with Dave Abdallah, go watch that. One, because it's great, but two, Dave talks about how he figured out his hourly rate on the phone was like $400 an hour, something ridiculous, right? So he pays for someone to do everything. If he wants his car washed, he pays a kid $20, take the car down there, get it washed, and then he pays for the car washed. But he gives the kid $20 because it's 45 minutes back and forth, an hour potentially. And he's like, I'm making $400 an hour on the phone. I'll pay the kid $20 to go do it. He talks about how he pays people to come. He joked about it. He's like, I don't even know how to change the light bulb. He goes, I got a guy that comes in once a month, changes all the light bulbs. I give him like $100. He's like, because it takes him an hour, 2 hours, I'm making $400 on the phone. He goes, I have people go pick up my dry cleaning. He's like, it costs me $20, $25 here and there. But if I'm on the phone, I'm making $400 an hour. Okay. Stop saving pennies when you're losing dollars. Okay. All right. Third truth I wrote down here. Here's a third truth we have to face, stay productive. Verbally talking to people is still the key to business. Verbally talking to people is still the key to business. It's 2022. Okay, that's what year we're in. I don't care if it's 2022, 1922, 1822, or just 22. Verbally talking to people is the key to getting more business. Yes or no? Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
Agree. Verbally talking to people. Could be on the phone, could be at the doors, could be at a presentation, at a party, whatever. Verbally. Now, I'm not saying the other stuff are not part of the business, but here's what I wrote down. Texting is not a contact. Social media posts are not contacts. Mailers are not contacts. You can do this stuff, but verbally is where the action's at. Let me give you an example. I verbally say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, have you thought about selling? Yeah, and I think we're okay for right now. Is something on their mind? Yes or no? Is something on their mind?
Yes.
With a pause like that? Yes.
Yes.
So I can dig. I can find a deal. Text, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, are you thinking about selling? No. Okay. Is there a reason? There's no reason for me to dig. I lost the pause in the text. Okay. I lost the questions. I lost this. Let me be honest. I get annoyed sometimes with the amount of text messages I get. And so a lot of times I get text messages, even as an expressive, I go, yeah. No. I don't want to respond. I don't want to write a story. Okay. If it's important, call me. We could talk about it. But I'm not going to give you all the details in a text message. It takes too long. Okay. So you lose stuff in the text message. I'm not saying don't text people, text them, connect with them, but that's not a contact. Well, Robert, I connect with my database on social media. Oh, good God. Do you see every single post that gets posted on your page throughout the day? Yes or no?
No.
No. Well, Robert, I post stuff and my database sees it. Oh, I'm sure they do. Because your database is just on social media all day, just waiting for your posts. No, I'm not saying don't post, but that's not a contact for your database. You have to accept the fact that verbally communicating is still the key. Do that stuff. Do the social media, do the texting, do the mailers if you want to, but you got to get on the phone. I have a farm area, Robert, and I mail them once a month. And, well, I mail them once a month. Well, okay. Got to talk to people. Verbally talk to people. It's the key. Let's keep the key. All right. The next truth I wrote down here, the more we complicate it, the harder it becomes. The more we complicate it, the harder it becomes. All right. So let me give you an example. What do you think? Well, let me ask you, what do you think an example of that would be? What do we complicate? What part of our business do you think I wrote down that we complicate and it makes it harder? What do you think I put?
Where to find business?
Where to find business? Jack, that was the first one I put. Sources. First bullet point, sources. Oh, you know, I gotta, what if I look at this angle and that angle, and what if I try this, and what if I look at people from this city who were born on this year and their home is this size, and you know it's underwater, but it's also positive equity, and it's whoa. Do you think that source will work? I don't know. Well, just talk to people, man. All right. Sources of business. What's your number one source of business? This is concerning.
Database.
Database. Database. Robert, where do I find business? I would start there. Okay. Now, some of you do a great job of that. Some of you need to work on that. Okay. But are you maximizing your database? Okay. There's only so many sources we can find business. Now we can look at trends, and we do that as a company, condos, you know, 1-2 bedroom condos, 2-story homes that were bought 25 or more years ago. We can find those types of things. But other than that, it's, I got to call my database. If I get a listing, I got to do just listed, just sold, right? I could do open houses. Like I could do, it's the same stuff. We complicate it and then we make it harder because we're looking for some magic source that all of a sudden is going to generate our 15 listings. And yet at the end of the day, and we're going to talk about this on Wednesday. Wednesday, my class is about sources that are working most right now. Okay. But we complicate it. What's another example? What do you think I also wrote down here on things that we complicated and actually makes it harder? It also starts with an S.
Schedule.
Schedule. Well, here's what I'm gonna do, Robert. From 8 to 8:15, I'm gonna do this, and then from 8:15 to 8:30, I'm gonna call this, and then from 8:30 to 8:40. Stop. What time are you gonna be in the office? 8. Okay, great. What time can you actually start working? 8:30. Okay. When are you gonna prospect? 8:30 to 11. 8:30 to 11:30. 15 minutes here, then I'm going to take 30 minutes to do this, and then an hour to do this, and I'm trying to do this. We complicate it, and it makes it harder for us because we can't follow it, right? Or here's how we complicate. Here's another way we complicate it. We set a schedule that's not realistic for us. Well, I'm going to get to work at 8. Okay, great. What time do you drop off the kids? 8. Well, how the hell are you going to start work at 8? Like, would you tell me to start at 8? Not if you're dropping off the kids at 8. That's not realistic. That's all right. Robert, I want to start my day earlier. Okay. What time do you want to start? I want to start at 7. What time do you get up? 6:45. That's probably not going to work. Okay. Well, I'll just get up earlier. Okay, it's possible, but like set a schedule that's more realistic. We complicate it. We make it harder. All right. There's a third S I wrote down that we complicate. It actually makes life harder. Anyone want to guess what that is?
Scripts.
Scripts. We complicate the scripts. Well, I don't like that script. Okay, that's fine. I'm not asking you to like every script. Well, what if I say it this way? Okay. But then the problem is you don't write down how you want to say it. So then you make it harder on yourself because then they ask a question and you don't know the answer. I just know I don't like your script. That's fine. I'm not saying whatever script we follow, a Mike Ferry script, a Neil Schwartz script, a Robert Hertel script, or any other script that we follow. I'm not saying that's the end all be all to all the scripts in the world, but follow something. We complicate it. Say, well, I'm going to say it this way. Okay. But I'm not going to split. I don't have that down. So I'm not going to say it that way every time. If it's this type of person, I'm going to say it this way. If it's this type of person, I'm going to say it this way. If it's a database, I'll say it this way. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm not going to go through the whole script if it's a database. Yeah, you're right. Your database. Why would they want, the best service possible? Why would they want you to go through the entire process and give them the best service possible? They obviously don't care. Skip a couple steps. Do you know how crazy that sounds? I'm not going to follow a pre-qualifying script. Robert, this is a friend of mine. Oh, okay. Sure. Because your friend would never overprice the property. Your friend would never be realistically not motivated to sell. It would never happen. Your friend would never possibly interview another agent. We make it harder on ourselves because we complicate it. Okay. Does that make sense? Great. All right. The next truth I wrote down here. Okay. This one I get from a number of people, but this is a truth we have to face to stay productive. Not everyone has the same objection. Not everyone has the same objection. So let me give you an example. Well, Robert, every buyer says the market's going to crash. That's not true. How do I know that every buyer doesn't think the market's going to crash? What's the easiest way that I know that every buyer does not think the market's going to crash?
Properties are still selling.
There's a buyer buying a property somewhere. Every buyer says the market's going to crash. That's not true. Every seller wants me to cut my commission. That's not true either. Okay. I can't get any deals because every seller says this. Every buyer says this. That's just not true. But we give ourselves, we convince ourselves that's why we're not getting the amount of listings. We're not getting the amount of buyers. We're not getting, they all have the same objection. And it's an uncurable objection. You know what? If the buyer thinks the market's going to crash, I do think that's not a curable objection. I don't think no matter how good you handle it, I don't think you can cure that. I really don't. God honest truth. But not every buyer feels that way. Not every seller wants you to cut their commission. Not everyone can't find a replacement property. I understand these are hard objections, but not everyone falls under this category. Okay, so we have to accept the fact that yes, there are some sellers that can't find a replacement property. That is true, and it's a problem. There are some buyers that think the market's going to crash. There are some sellers that want you to cut your commission. Yeah, these are all true. But when you look at the numbers, there's still some deals being done, which means there are still people that don't have that objection. So we can't get into this mindset that, well, I can't get a deal because everyone has the same objection. It's just not true. All right, truths we have to face. The next one I wrote down here, okay, which kind of falls into what we just talked about, is that there are deals being done in your area. There might be less deals, but there are still deals being done in your area. Well, Robert, I work in Hacienda Heights and business is down 25%. Okay, great. Well, then why don't you just go get some of the percentage that is still doing deals? But it's down 25%. I heard you. But there's still deals being done in Hacienda Heights, right? Yeah, well, go get one. Business is down 30% in my area. Okay, great. Well, how many deals were there last year? 40. Well, why can't you get that? 40 deals is 2 sides. That's 80 sides were done in your city. Go get one. I understand. I'm saying this as if like it's easy. I get it. It's hard to get business. Don't get it. Don't make it seem like, well, Robert, it's really hard. I get that. But it's more of a mentality thing, right? Business is down. Yeah, I get it. But business is still being done. Okay. I check the numbers every month, and every month over $1 billion gets handed out to real estate agents and commissions in our MLS. $1 billion in commission, not in volume, gets handed out to real estate agents in our MLS. Now, I understand our MLS is big. And so if you live in Arcadia, I'm not telling you to go prospect in San Clemente. Okay. But you get the point. In your area, there are deals being done. It may not be as many, but how many deals do you need a month to have a good month? For a lot of you, it's 1 because the commissions are so high. Now, maybe for you, it's 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 10. I don't know. But we have to accept the fact that, yes, business is down. But if you look at the numbers, you're looking at the wrong numbers. You're looking at business being down instead of just the business. We're looking at average sales price because we're looking at, I was talking with an agent who's in Torrance, and we were looking at some properties and whatnot and some spaces for them to rent, not for commercial rent. And the they were looking like, oh, Torrance, El Segundo. And El Segundo the price for the place was double for the commercial rent compared to Torrance. And the question was like, man, like, why is El Segundo, the rent so much higher? So then I looked at home prices. You know, the average home price in El Segundo is 1.5 million. Some of you might not know where El Segundo is, but it's a nice area. It's not a bad area, but you wouldn't expect El Segundo to be at 1.5 million average sales price. Right? So if I'm making 2.5%, that's 27 grand. I'm sorry, 37 grand, my bad. 37 grand on that deal. One deal a month, 37 grand. Making a good living. Okay. There's deals being done. All right, a couple more truths I put down here. Okay. I wrote down here, partnering with someone on a deal or referring a deal is not a sign of weakness. Truth we have to face to stay productive. Partnering with someone on a deal or referring a deal is not a sign of weakness. Let me give you an example. Robert, I got a commercial lead. Okay, great. You ever done a commercial deal? No. Partner with somebody on it. But it's $3 million. You know, at 2.5%, that's 75 grand. It's my lead. You don't know how to do a commercial deal. I'm not partnering with somebody on it. Okay. And then you go and you do a listing presentation and you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And the seller picks up on it and they go, oh, I'm going to go list with a commercial agent because you didn't want to partner with somebody and get 50% of it. Well, Robert, this deal's in Beaumont. Where do you live? Arcadia. Refer it out. Yeah, but it's like $300,000 and I need a deal. It's in Beaumont. Refer it out for 25% instead of driving to Beaumont. Right? That's not a sign of weakness. It's well, yeah, but it was a referral. I can't just refer a referral. Yeah, you can. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Referral, I greatly appreciate that you referred over to me. Can I be honest with you? Yes. As much as I want to help you, I really don't think, because I live in Arcadia, that you living in a Beaumont, I don't think that I'd be servicing you the way that you should. I don't know your marketplace. So what I would rather do is set you up with an agent that I know out here that knows your marketplace, because I think that's where you're going to get the best service. Don't you agree? Oh yeah, we actually do agree with that. Okay, great. Right? But as a sign of weakness, oh, I don't want to partner with someone that makes it seem like I don't know what I'm doing. You don't. Okay. I want to do this commercial deal. If I refer it, I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. Refer it out, partner with somebody. It's not a sign of weakness. Get something. Okay. I wrote down here next. I got 4 more points and then we'll be done. All right. 4 more truths we have to face. If you're not 100% in, get 100% out. If you're not 100% in, get 100% out. Real estate is not sustainable if you don't have both feet in. It's not a sustainable income. Okay, because it is hard to get business. And then when you're dealing with people that are professionals, how you can't build sustainable income if you have 1 foot in real estate and then 1 foot, you know, I'm also a driver for Amazon. Okay, which I probably see you circling my block constantly. Okay, because that's what the Amazon truck does. It just circles my block, waits for the order, and then just comes and drops it off. That's the world that I live in. Okay. But you're 100% in or get 100% out. Go do something else. It's a frustrating business if you're not 100% in, and you're just not going to have sustainable income. You might get a deal here and there, but right now, let's be honest. Is it hard to get deals right now? Is it hard to get deals in real estate? Yes. Yeah. And you're pros. How are you going to get a deal if you're not 100% in? So for those of you that are like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, just get out. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to save you frustration and irritation and annoyance. Okay, get 100% in or get 100% out. I wrote down here, never assume, always ask. Truth we have to face. Never assume, always ask. Let me give you an example. Somebody will say, I got a listing appointment. Whenever you get a listing appointment, what is typically the first question Neil and I ask?
Qualify them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's their motivation? And then when I hear this, well, I think, I stop you. Well, I think it's a stop. You shouldn't have to think what their motivation is. What's their motivation? Well, they're selling because of this. Okay, great. Not I think. Do you see the difference? Okay. Never assume. I think it's because of this. Well, why do they want to buy right now? Well, I think it's because they're renting. Do you think it's because they're renting, or is there something else? Well, I don't know. Ask. I think it's because of this. I think it's because of this. Okay. Not everybody's the same. But if you think, then when you think you know the answer, you're providing solutions to the answer you have in your head, to the question you have in your head. You're not providing answers to the question they have in their head. Does that make sense? I know I've probably lost most of you at this point, but I hope whoever's still here understood what I just said, because that's really important. Okay. You have to ask questions and figure out what's on your mind. What's their motivation? Why are they doing this? Don't think why they're doing this. Ask, why are you doing this? Okay. Because once I know why they're doing this, then I can provide the right solution. I brought my car into the shop and I walk away. Why do you bring the car in? Well, I think he needed an oil change. So they just do an oil change. And I come back, oh, great. Did you change the tires? Well, no, I thought it was just, you just needed an oil change. You get my point? Good. Okay, last two. Never plan until you have all the information. Never plan until you have all the information. So, give you an example. Okay, this goes back to the thinking thing. All right, well, we're going to sell their house, and then they're going to buy a replacement property in the Irvine area. Okay, so I'm thinking about, so we're meeting, but I'm also going to go show them some properties in Irvine. Okay, well, is what they sell their property for important in terms of buying their property? Yes. Okay, great. Then don't show them property yet. Find out what they're going to net first and make sure that makes sense before we talk about buying. Okay. Well, the buying part is they're going to sell, but only if they find something that they like. Okay, great. But they need to sell in order to buy, right? Right. Then let's start there. Don't go show them property. Don't send them properties. Don't talk about buying until we talk about selling. Because I need to know what you're going to net. What if they're only going to net 200,000 instead of 500,000? That could change their qualifications. Armando, if a buyer told you they had $500,000 down and they only had $200,000 down, could that change their qualification?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So my point is, okay, don't get to the buying part yet. What are they going to net? That's going to determine their qualification. Okay. Don't plan until you have all the information. Yeah. Well, they're going to do a 1031 exchange. So we're going to start that process. Do you know where they're going to buy yet? Not yet. Well, we're moving too fast. Okay. Moving too fast. Okay. You have to accept the fact that you got to get step one before you get to step two. But Robert, I need the paycheck. I need the paycheck. I need to show them that I'm proactive. I need to show them I'm proactive. And that's why I do it this way. All you're doing is showing them that you're unorganized. All you're doing. Oh, I'm showing them proactive. No, you're showing them you're unorganized because you're showing them property. You're telling them about properties that are for sale at 1.2 million. And then you go find out that they're only going to net 200,000 and they only qualify for 800,000. You didn't show them you were proactive. You show them you were unorganized. Okay. Don't plan until you have all the information. All right. Last one. Last truth we have to face in order to stay productive is real estate can be fun. Real estate can be fun. Okay. Is it real estate's hard? It's hard. Okay. Getting a deal is hard, but is real estate work hard? No, it's not. It's been like in Southern California, for those of you that don't live here, it's been like in the hundreds for the last few weeks. And there are people on roofs, loading roofs, tearing off roofs, ACs that are broken. And for the most part, we're inside. Every so often we go hit the doors, we go show property, things like that, where we have to go outside. For the most part, we're inside. We get to wear suits or nice clothes, right? We drive around and show property. The work is not hard. It's hard to get business, but the work is not hard.
Hi, Laura. It's Armando Novello. I hope you're doing well. I know
I'm
that
doing great, buddy. Thanks for asking. All right. Real estate can be fun. This can be fun. Let me tell you how fun real estate can be. Let me explain this to you. Okay. And then we're going to wrap up here. Think about this. We suggest you preview property, correct? Now, if you live in Southern California, okay, if you don't live in Southern California, there's areas like this. In Southern California, we have the beach. So imagine you get up on a wonderful Southern California day and you go walk around the beach and you look at the homes that are for sale and you do all these wonderful things and it's beautiful and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, even though you spent the day at the beach for the most part, you could say, previewed property. I went and previewed property, just hanging out on the beach, just seeing all the property for sale. That could be fun. That could be exciting. The paychecks are fun. Let me tell you something. I get it. We work with sellers, but you ever work with a first-time buyer who bought their first house? Are they just ecstatic at the end of that transaction? I mean, they're just thrilled. I get it. First-time buyers are hard. I'm not telling everyone to go prospect renters. But real estate can be fun. They have this look like, oh my gosh, I bought a house. Oh my gosh, I sold my house for this much money and I got my dream house. I mean, this can be fun. It's hard, but it can be fun. If you don't have fun, if you don't set up some sort of accountability for fun, if you don't accept the fun, this job is going to kill you at a rapid rate because you just face rejection 99% of the time. And if all you're doing is focusing on the rejection, you're missing out on the fun. You got to have some fun. Real estate can still be fun, right? Talking to people, helping them out, it can still be fun. Questions on what we went over today? Oh. All right.
That was a good ending.
Thanks.
Fun.
I saved that for the end on purpose. You know? It could be fun. No one said this can't be fun. All right, everybody. That's all I got. We got Emily, Frank, Denise. 3:30 today, we have a special guest speaker talking about Prop 19. As I said earlier, I don't know what Prop 19 is, so don't ask me what it is. Just be here at 3:30. And we have I'll tell you right now. Where is it? Here's the thing that got emailed out. Lucia Camarillo with First American NHD talking about Prop 19 transfers. There you go. It's 3:30. All right, everybody. I'm around. Neil's around. Cindy's around. If you need anything from us, we're around. If you don't need anything from us, that's okay too. All right, let's go have a powerful afternoon.